Hello. Today I wanted to jump on and talk about this gray hair that's sticking out. No, I wanted to just get a little comfortable with sharing on video what my intention is and sharing with everybody because I really want to create a place where you can access support and understand how to make decisions for yourself because during pregnancy there are so many decisions and so many decisions that are so weighty. They really hit us in the heart, they hit us in the womb, they hit us in all of the maternal and biological and parenting and paternal and ancestral places. And it's really complex and so deeply entrenched in our biology and our skin and bones and our blood, all of these decisions. And we're given very little support, especially in the mainstream care system and mainstream society, on how to become powerful parents and how to become vulnerable parents and how to move through vulnerability and find strength in ourselves, in building a supportive network around us, and our grace to move through things. So this community is a place for that. This community will be featuring speakers and wisdom collectors from all walks of life to help you as you make your own choices, to help you, inform you, to help lend a shoulder of support, to help you navigate what it is that this pregnancy and childbirth and postpartum and motherhood and parenting and fatherhood is all about. So, let me see if I could just kind of go over a list of topics. I mean, the topics will be broad and deep, but some of the topics that come to mind the most are being heard and how to be heard in a culture and an environment where you're not supposed to be, or you're given very little tools to be heard and to make your own decisions. How to create that space and that time that you need to gather the information that you need and the support that you need so that you can make these decisions. What does it look like when your instincts are telling you the opposite of what your care provider might be telling you? And how do you come to terms with either making a decision that you want or making a decision that you don't necessarily want but that you're deciding anyways? Connecting with your baby, understanding what is evidence-based and what's not evidence-based, understanding when it comes to lab testing, when it comes to what your body's going through, what's normal, what's not normal, what's safe, what's not safe. If things are not safe, what are your options, and what are your where do you turn at that point if things are not going perfect and perfectly smoothly? We're also going to talk about when care and mainstream culture can be detrimental, because in a society where there's so much postpartum depression, in a society where there's so much institutionalized care and patriarchal care, and colonial care, and a lot of the traditional birthing cultures has been stripped away. When is that detrimental to us as birthing people, as people who belong to a culture, as people who belong to ourselves? So, yeah, that's a pretty interesting topic because birth really belongs to a culture. Birth is really about what the people around you, the people who came before you, what they know about birth and what they will teach you about birth and what they hand down about birth. And so many times the culture that came before us has a very damaged relationship and separated relationship to their births. I mean, I know even with my own experience, my family, my elders and my mothers and aunties, they learned through me, and I mean through their own births definitely, but they also learned through my births, and they were still learning, which I'm sure that'll happen to me when the younger generations give birth. But I feel like it happened in a way where information was withheld and options were withheld from them, and in my situation it wasn't, and in my grandmother's situation it wasn't either. There was support, there was a natural progression and a natural understanding of what birth was and what was safe, what wasn't safe, when we should follow the birthing parent, when we should follow the mother, when we should follow the baby. And there was a little bit more trust and comfort and a relationship with the natural cycle of birth. So that's a pretty big topic. Another topic that we come across so much is how to choose the right care provider. And if you chose wrong the first time, how to change care providers, how and when to change care providers. And so many times I see people saying, no, I don't want to change. But the truth is that maybe they don't have the tools to make the choice to change. And, if given all the tools and options, would they make the same choice? Would they not? And so preparing you, because motherhood, parenting, fatherhood doesn't stop when you have the baby. That's just the beginning. And all of those, learning how to navigate all that decision making, all of that, standing up for what you know to be true, what you feel to be right and true. And sometimes letting go when you don't know what to do, and trusting people around you for support. All of that will serve you in the years to come as you raise your family. And I think that's a really important lesson and an important feature, an important philosophy of this birth community, is that we are strengthening ourselves for leadership. We're strengthening ourselves to trust our voices, and that we can be leaders in our families and in our communities, and in oftentimes going against the grain and in taking control of things that we have to learn a lot about, and that we also have to trust the natural instinct of things sometimes. Let's see, how to get support. Whether that means finding a community like this one, or finding people you can rely on, finding a doula, maybe it's a professional who you can hire, finding a midwife, or finding that perfect care provider, perfect doctor who will listen to you. Patient-centered care, the concepts of patient-centered care. We will definitely go over that, because this happens to my kids at school too, as I tell them, listen, I know the teachers and administrators want to bully you and coerce you and get you to fall in line, and sometimes that's okay, because sometimes they just need to manage and control the classroom. But some situations it's actually counterproductive, because the whole point of their job is to be there to support you, educate you, and uplift you. And if they're not doing that, and they're damaging you, and they're withholding from you, and they're coercing you, which does happen in the pregnancy and birth fields too, then we need to take it back. We need to take back the power. We need to take back the fact that it's about us birthing babies into the world, us bringing life into the world, us playing a role that is more important than the care providers. Not saying that we can't have a co-creative and a cooperative relationship with them, but that not to come second in that relationship, that we are central in the relationship. What else are we going to go over? Pitfalls. common pitfalls, because they happen again and again. And I'll tell you right now, one of the greatest pitfalls for a first-time mother, even a second-time mother or father, is that we trust. We trust that the people around us, number one, have our best interest in mind, which I'm sure that they do, but that's not always the case. And two, share our philosophies and views. And I think this is where we can get into trouble, is because we do not all have the same philosophies and views, and our philosophy is going to inform, and our morals and our ethics and our culture is going to inform our choices and how and when and what procedures to take, what steps to take, right? It's like, some people bake a cake by looking at a clock and they set a timer and it's done. Some people bake a cake by just checking on it all the time. Some people bake a cake by, looking at it, sticking a fork in it. So it's all different. And your care can be centralized and centered around your needs and your process. Because birth is not a medical procedure. There is a medical facet to birth, but birth is intrinsically a process of growth and transformation on all levels, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. There is transformation in the process of pregnancy and birth, and that is a good thing, because each child is going to prepare us to be the mother, father, parents that we need to be. There's also the facet of birth justice. What does it mean to be from a marginalized community who does not get the care that we need, that we deserve? And there are disparities among many marginalized communities: Black, Indigenous, trans, LGBTQ, people in poverty. There is sometimes it's location too, sometimes it's access to the right healthcare provider, language. So all of these things play a role in birth justice, and we get a chance, we have the opportunity to create better birth system with every one of us who has our babies. So that is a quick intro. I will also be having different guest speakers, different providers, doulas, different womb workers, care providers, and massage therapists, cultural practitioners from their different traditions, different cultures. And at some point, this is what I really want. That's the basics, but I would love to also take you on a journey and travel and have a view of different birth in different cultures, birth with different midwives, with different people, with different locations, and what is the birth practice? What does a birth practice look like from the inside, not from the outside, not the medical stuff and what the CDC is telling you. Not disregarding that stuff. I'm saying that this is a place. We're not medical providers here. We are not diagnosing and treating. We are giving you a look at what it means to take back the culture of birth from an individual perspective, right? So I welcome you here. I wish that you share this far and wide. I know from experience that it's hard to access good birth support, good birth education. And so let's make this community grow.